So we have our next question, and that's mine. This is Sydney from Puyallup, Washington. She says, Malia seems head over heels for this man. I am worried she is moving too fast and is not living in reality. How should she be approaching the situation? Carrie.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Sydney. I think Malia is moving way too fast. And even though it seems like, you know, she's in her head thinking a lot, she's so much into the emotions that she's feeling. She's just like moving through them. She's not really processing them, if that makes sense. And as far as how she should be, she really needs to back away from everybody. She really needs to take some time, possibly seek some therapy, some counseling, and really work through these things before she just keeps pushing herself, going, showing up to this, doing that. You know, she's a workaholic. You know, she's just really going. She's not really taking time to sit and reflect deeply in a healthy way. Everything that she's going through. And just like Corenna was talking about, you know, with her father stealing, you know, this money from her. I mean, can you imagine the level of hurt? Like, first, this man that you've been with for so long, doing all these things, your cousin, your god sister's acting up with you for no reason, and your father steals money from you, like takes everything, like where you can't do anything, and you're about to open your third store. I mean, the level of devastation that has hidden my girl, like left and right. You know, I mean, my goodness, you know, so she really, I feel like she should really be taking that time to sit and say, how do I make sure that as I'm seemingly going downhill in my life, I don't spiral out of control? You know, because if she doesn't get a hold of herself, she will start to spiral. She will start to be drinking more than she should. She will start sleeping, you know, with people that she hasn't really gotten to know yet, you know, just moving through life, you know, as, you know, most of us have been in those moments in our life. So you can probably relate. So.
Yeah, I definitely think that she is head over heels in love. And I don't even think like how could it be so soon? Like, maybe it's not love, but it's definitely given like, I'm intrigued as hell. Like, I'm lit. Like, what about you? Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And I think that the alcohol didn't help. And I feel like the dreams, you know, the dreams were so powerful to her that she just felt like, I think this is him. Like, that's the thing. Okay, you know, we talk a lot about dreams in here because we're dreamers, and not just, oh, we're dreamers in terms of we just create fantasies. No, we're dreamers. Like, dreams send us messages, signals. And sometimes I've had dreams, and the dreams were just so real. And I wondered in my own self, if I'm dreaming this, you know, is that person dreaming that too? Because this is just too real. This is too, you know what I mean? And it wasn't just like, oh, one dream. It was like multiple dreams. And I'm like, I'm really kind of wondering, because I'm starting to feel a very strong connection that should not be. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? And again, dreams are crazy. And I feel like maybe she might have been feeling some of that. She might have been like, well, what's going on with this thing? And then I felt like she was so vulnerable when she talked to her friend on the phone. And she was just like, so, you know, she was going through it. Like, she was just like lonely, you know, and ready to move on with her life. Because from looking at her from the outside, if you didn't know all the details of her life, you're like, oh, successful, beautiful Black woman, you know, who has multiple, you know, businesses and a nice car, and, you know, lives in a, you know, luxury condo. Like, you know, she's educated, you know, she got her stuff together, you know what I mean? And then to know that, like, she goes home and she's bored, and to know that, you know, she's lonely and she's ready for love. And, you know, her sisters are all married with children, and her grandmother and mother rub that in her face. And then she's around this group of women in this like certain social group where there are certain milestones that you're supposed to hit by a certain point. And she hasn't hit those milestones. And it's not like she's trying to keep up with the Joneses, but because she could have definitely, like I said, like a couple of weeks ago, she could have found a replacement for Mike quite quickly. There should be a number 2 here in the city who will be just fine. I'll take him. You know, he's a new number 1. You know, but she didn't. And I feel like all of that just, it really did mean that, like, she wasn't just trying to be in this cookie cutter lifestyle. Because for her mother and for her grandmother, this lifestyle means everything. It means everything. And for her, she's starting to realize this is really fake. This is really inauthentic. I don't want that. You know, I want something real. I don't want just like, oh, just put two people together. And she thought she had something real with Mike, and she didn't. So now she's in a position where she's like, yeah, I'm just going to work and take care of myself and do what I got to do. And I feel like women are just really good at knowing how to work, knowing how to push past a lot of stuff and not really taking that time to realize what's going on the inside. I do think that she was super excited for him. Who wouldn't be? I mean, the man is beautiful. You know, he came with the bells and the whistles. Like, who would not be excited for that? You know, I'd be excited for that if I wasn't already married, right? Like, you want to take me out? So I would be excited for that. Okay. What she should be doing, just slowing down. But we were talking a couple days ago on the phone, and we were saying if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. You know, I used to hate when my mom and dad would say to me, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. And I'm like, no, because that's not how life works. And sometimes it is great. And sometimes, no, you need to live in a state of reality. People will sell you a dream. People will sell you a fantasy. So I would say what Malia should be doing is proceeding with caution. You've already gotten wrapped up with old crazy Mike, who thinks that he's in control of something. Now it's like, learn from his two-faced ways and move forward slowly and get to know somebody. Because I'm going to tell you, people can't hide forever. They can't hide forever. And eventually your mask will fall off. And when that mask falls off, I'm going to see exactly who you are. Getting real close, okay? Okay?
And still gonna leave.
And still bouncing, period.
Well, we got time into this.
You know?
And I hate when people say that. Like, especially when it was all a lie. Like, why does it matter how much time you have invested in something when it wasn't true? It wasn't genuine.
Yeah.
It wasn't honest. Like, come on.
It wasn't.
Whack.
Not gonna do it.
Our next question is from Kai from San Francisco, California. Hey, Kai. The topic of interracial dating has come up in this book. Chan may be fine with dating Malia, but are his parents going to be as open-minded as he is if this relationship gets deep? Okay, come through with the hard questions, Kai.
Yeah.
Definitely something to consider, right? Anytime you're mixing those cultures, you know, you have to consider the family. You know, yes, the relationship is between you and that person, but still, like, we're gonna have kids in the future, and you know, we're gonna have holiday meals and, you know, different fellowship things where we're gonna get together with the family. And is that going to be an issue? Because Chan, as well, I don't think we've talked about that, but he does come from a background where they are pretty traditional, you know, and that's kind of hard when you're getting into the modern world and modern relationships, you know, when it's supposed to be done this way. You know, I did it, my father did it, my grandfather did it before him, and by golly, we're gonna ban you from the family if you don't do it too. You know, like, they go hard with that junk. So I think that's a wonderful topic, you know, to bring up. And we've luckily, I don't think that's the right word, luckily, but gratefully, I think there's a better word than that too, but we live in a modern society where, you know, those things have been opened up to us, where we can explore relationships with different people, and it's more welcoming, and, you know, people aren't disowning family members because they chose to be with someone outside of their culture, you know. So I'm glad that we are making headway in the real world, you know, through those cultural lines. So
most definitely.
Kai.
And I'm like, and I want to get to Kai's question in a second, but I also want to say that I'm glad that Malia is being open-minded in dating, especially out here in the Pacific Northwest. Like, Kyria, you're from the Pacific Northwest. You know, the population of African-American people out here is slim to none. Where I live, I think our population of African-American people in my city is less than 2%. That's sad. Where I'm from Tacoma, and the population of African American people there is 12%. And that seemed like a really, really small number. And it is a small number because like where Kyrie's at, oh my gosh, when I went out there, and actually somebody just had a whole like wedding anniversary like Friday. So, that was the first time I had been out to Atlanta, and me and my husband went out there. And I mean, if you're not from, Washington, or even from the city I'm in, Lord help, going to the store, girl, I call you, I'd be fine. Like, I got to get up out of here. I got to go, because I moved here for love. You know what I'm saying? My husband works in the neighboring city, or neighboring state. And so he wanted to still live in Washington. I'm from Washington. So I was like, okay, it's cool. I'll just move 2 hours down the road. There's a whole nother planet down here. So it's not uncommon to go into stores and being the only Black person. I mean, it's like we need some more. We need some more zap. We need some more color up in here. So, when we went for your wedding, it was just so amazing to see all the beautiful Black people everywhere we went. Everywhere we went, everybody's Black. I was just like, I know they got some white folk out here. I know they exist. I know they are here in Georgia. But it was like the Walmart, the gas station, the IHOP, the Rainbow. I mean, I was just like, I haven't seen a white person. I was just shocked. Like, go ahead, girl. What would you want to say?
I just wanted to chime in. It was quite amazing when I came out here and seen all these Black people years ago. And I was just like, I didn't know there was this many Black people in America. Like, I was just like, wow. I mean, Black Mecca. I mean, beautiful Black people that you don't even know existed when you come from a place, like Tacoma, Washington, and I show my husband my school pictures. And sometimes I'm the only Black kid in class, the little class group pictures that they take every year. Well, they used to anyway. And sometimes I would be the only Black kid in class. And he's just like, where's all the Black people? I'm like, I told you, and there's a lot of things I didn't even know culturally when I came out here. They're like, y'all don't do this, y'all don't do that. Like, and even them hearing that I came from Washington, even their responses, we didn't know there was Black people up there.
People up there?
So,
Right says that.
Yeah.
So we had so much fun for her wedding. And I know I'm going off course, but every time I think about her wedding and her wedding weekend, like, it was amazing. We had so much fun. I don't even know the name of the lounge that we went to. It was more like a club, but baby, we was in there getting it. Okay. We had so much fun, and she was showing out on the dance floor. I was like, what? She had all these eyes on her. I was like, my God, my friend. I was like, let me go somewhere and sit my butt down, because you was really killing it out there. I was like, you had that whole little group of dudes. They was all like, yeah, they was getting it. It was so much fun. But yeah, so many beautiful Black people out there, and just the range of people. It wasn't just one. I mean, socioeconomic. It was just, from poor to extremely wealthy. They were there, honey. Georgia's got the tea, baby, and the weather's good out there too. I just have to throw that out there. So. I was saying, like, back to Kai's question about the whole interracial thing, I was really glad that Malia was willing to open herself and allow herself to the possibility of dating somebody outside of her race. Because if you live where I live and you're like, it has to be a Black man, yeah, you're going to have to get on a date now. You're going to have to be willing to go to Texas. You're going to have to be willing to go to Alabama. You're going to have to be willing to go to the East Coast. You're going to be willing to go somewhere other than here, because you're probably not, y'all don't know, but we know, you know what I'm saying? And so it's not, okay. Anyways, so Kai, I'm grateful for your question again. I'm glad that Malia opened herself up to the possibility of love and not being so restricted in who she can love. There's nothing wrong with Black love. I think Black love is beautiful, but there's also nothing wrong with somebody authentically loving you and treating you like the queen that you are. And if you got it, baby, I say come and bring it. Okay. So that is a really good question, because I think as open-minded as a lot of people are, sometimes people's family members are not very open-minded, and that can be can be scary. What if you feel like you meet your special person? What if you feel like this is my soulmate? And then his grandma or his mom or his dad is like, no, not in this family, not at all. So I think that as Malia is extremely infatuated with this man, she needs to keep in mind that his family may not be as open to that. And that's real. And we can say, well, that's not right. No, it is right. Because I know some people who have been in some junk and they basically had to walk away from their family because them and their kids were no longer accepted because they dated outside their culture, or they've had children outside their culture, or they married outside their culture. So it's real. Even in today's society, you still hear a number of stories about men and women from different, racial backgrounds having problems with, marrying other people who are considered to be an outsider, and it's not accepted. And I don't know why people think that like they can choose. I guess it's more like bullying tactics, really, because if I kick you out the family, if you don't get invited to anything, if I disinherit you, then what do you have? So it's real. And I do think that as Malia goes forward, she needs to keep that in mind. Also keep it in mind for Chan, because we don't know, like, even though Malia's dad has made this poor decision of borrowing this money from these people, like sometimes your mother and father has an image of like what they want you to have, a type of family that they want you to have. And my sister had a baby, beautiful little girl. And my mom for a long time was like, that baby don't look black. I was like, Mom. And my little niece did not for a number of years. She had crystal clear blue eyes and she looked like her father, and my mom for a long time was like, she's beautiful, but when is the black gonna show? I'm like, Mom, shut up. It's so rude. You can't tell somebody that, like my mom was like, you think she'll ever get any color? It's just like, where's this coming from? My mom was a whole savage, and she made a point to say something to my sister. And my sister was like, she was hurt. And I'm like, so again, sometimes your family will say things about the children, or they won't understand certain things, or so it's tough, because as much as in love as you are with a person, you're not just marrying that person, you're also marrying their family. And I'm telling you right now, ain't no way I'm gonna be with anybody and his whole family got a problem with Corenna because I'm brown, because I'm black. Oh, okay. Well, apparently this wasn't God's plan for us, because if this was God's plan for us, your family would love me the way that I love you, the way you love me. So this is letting me know this isn't really for me. That's not for me, because I'm not tearing up nobody's family. She don't do that, boo. I'm not going to tear apart a family. We love each other, and love conquers all. I mean, he does. What, I don't know, because I would feel like that's a lot to ask the person to walk away from. I will bow out gracefully. You know what, my guy? I don't want you to be like, I haven't spoke to my mom and my dad for 2 years. That would hurt my heart. Then I would also feel like, not to say like that person could abuse you in that situation. Like, well, I gave up everything for, you, but that is a real thing. Like, what if this relationship doesn't work out? Then that person's always going to be like, I walked away from my family. I chose you over my family. That's just a lot of, that's a lot to live up to. And I feel like I would just have to overly just love and give, because now I know like it's going to be a quiet Christmas, just the two of us, because we're not invited to your family's house, and maybe I don't live close to mine. So it's like I don't know. It puts a lot of pressure on relationships. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying the way that I'm built, I'll bow out. I'll be like, yeah, I don't. I'm gonna find somebody whose mama loves me, who wants to like show me her recipes. I'm gonna be all up in the kitchen with her.
I definitely agree. And it doesn't even have to, I was just thinking, it doesn't even have to be a cultural line, because I remember starting to date someone a few years ago, and him and his family were extremely aggressive, and even though he was a gentleman, always been respectful, they were just super aggressive. And I had to make the decision that this wasn't for me, and had to explain that to him. Like, it's not anything with you personally. I just could not. I can't function when people are yelling all the time and screaming, and that's normal business for y'all. So what does that look like when I enter into this family? I'm not expecting 10 people to change for little old quiet me, you know, well, you better put some headphones on, sis, if it's bothering you, you know, you know, so it doesn't even have to be a cultural line, you know, like it's just different
how you're raised,
beliefs and all that stuff, even within your own culture. So
I remember actually that story because when she was like, I'm going to break up with him. And I was like, for what? And she was like, because family and they're just really extra and everybody screams and they argue and you're trying to get through dinner. And I was like, oh, it's normal. It was normal for my family. So I was like, the stuff that she was telling me about his family, I was like, that sounds like a Scott family moment. Like it was just, I was like, I wouldn't break up with him because of that. I was like, but also I realized I came from that family with those just people just arguing or shut up because your shoes are dirty and and I'll pop you in the eye and I'll push you down. Like it was just like always somebody talking some junk. Like people in my family talking mad S. And so Monica's family was very different. They were very quiet, very reserved. There was none of that yelling and screaming going on over there. So I was like, I do see why like she would break up. I think, and I honestly like, I think he was a nice person, but I do think that was like a better choice for you. Because I wouldn't have wanted to marry somebody whose family's like mine. Like, even though at that time I was thinking, oh, girl, he's cool. Like, just ignore that, right? Because I guess that's what I want somebody to do. Please ignore my family, right? Right. Please. But I had to realize it was like there was something about why I chose my husband. And some of the reason why I chose him and he chose me or I accepted his offer was that he was different from me. You know, his background was very different and they're very quiet people, very peaceful, super easy to get along with. Like, he's always happy. It's like crazy. It's just like, hi, babe. And he just comes home and it's just like, you know, I don't care what I make, you know, he's like, oh, it's food. Thank you. He's just always so grateful. That's not what I was raised with, honey. Somebody will tear you up. You didn't put enough cheese on that lasagna. Where's the sausage at? Oh, this ain't the spicy sweet Italian sausage. Oh, throw that away in the trash. Like, just my whole lifestyle was very, very different. He's so grateful. He's like, oh, this is good. Oh, you used some different. Oh, okay, I like that. So yes, you have to know that marrying that person doesn't mean, or being in a relationship with that person doesn't just mean that person. It also means that, you know, you got to get to know the grandma and the grandfather and the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and the aunts and their extended family and friends and brothers and sister-in-laws. Like, it comes with so much more than just that one person. So, but I was glad that Malia was allowing herself to have a broader experience of love and giving somebody a chance. Because I know a lot of Black women be like, sorry, because if he ain't dark and chocolate, if he ain't of the African ancestry line, don't you come over here with that. You know, a lot of Black women are just they know what they like, and there's nothing wrong with knowing exactly what you want. However, because of where we're at, you have to be a little bit. You don't have to be, but I like to be a little bit more open-minded, you know, because somebody's gonna love them some Corenna, period. Okay, you're gonna love her, you know. So, Monica, did you ever date anybody? Oh, now that we're talking about, you know, interracial relationship, did you ever cross?
Never.
Baby, no.
No, I actually haven't. I was sitting here thinking about it. I'm just like, did I ever have anybody approach me? I think I had a white guy approach me. And you know me, like when I'm shocked by something, I'm just gonna laugh in your face. And and I apologize after, but that's always my response. Like when I get hit on, like and I'm not expecting it or something, it's like, oh, you what? what's happening right now? And so I think I hurt his feelings. I apologize, but
right,
you know, he could barely get it out to even ask me to go to dinner.
He was having a whole Chris moment. Sir, go sit down.
Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. I thought it was cute. And I was just like, that's just so sweet. And he's like, you just made me feel like a little kid. And I didn't feel like the man that I was trying to be. And I'm never mind. I'm good.
That is hilarious.
That's good, because I was going to say no anyway, but you know,
say no anyway.
First,
I'm gonna tell you right now, Monica was always super bad. Like, she always had guys loved them some Monica, but everybody was always afraid to approach her, not because she was like unapproachable and mean. everybody just always thought that she would say no, and she probably would. And I would tell her, we'd be at school, and I'm like, when my friend said he likes you, but he was afraid you're going to say no, and she'd be like, oh, he's so sweet. Yeah, he's right. I would have said no. And I'm like, he's cute, And so, yeah, Monica was just not that teenage girl. She wasn't boy crazy. She was always very much like, she had a job, like, she was very responsible. She was that church girl, you know what I mean? I was boy crazy. I just didn't go nowhere, like probably for good reason. Like I was at home on lockdown with like a lock on my window and my door, basically. And that was probably for the best, to be honest, because I was very much like, ooh, a boy, but yeah. So anyways, yes, I'm glad Malia's being open. And I hope that she goes into it with her eyes open fully, and Chan as well, because there might be something in the future that comes up. Here's my question. Legend from Omaha, Nebraska says, Chan seems really upset that he had to leave Malia. Was he planning on staying the night? No, Chan was planning on staying the night. Don't you play that game. He was planning on staying the night, and Malia was planning on, yes. Okay, let me go ahead. Go ahead, Carrie Ann. Why was he so upset?
I was trying to say Legend. I'm gonna assume Legend that you're a man. I don't know if you've ever been sitting next to something spicy and hot and sexy. Are you trying to go home? What are you trying to do? Like, oh, let me go.
Right.
Please. I'm not sitting next to Malia, and I can just think in my mind, if I was sitting next to Malia, I wouldn't be trying to go home.
Okay? Nah. Not trying to go home. Not trying to. I want to go upstairs and have some coffee.
Right. Let's go have some coffee. Let's go hang out and kick it.
Let's go have some coffee. Let's have a little prayer meeting. Let's talk about what the Lord is doing in our lives. Praise God.
Next question. I feel like Legend Malik in this next question, you know him. Why was Chan so angry that he got the call to come down to the warehouse? Like, before I read the rest of the question, come on, Malik and Legend. Like, what do you mean? You sit next.
They want to hear us say it,
and you get an interrupting call before you.
It was an interruption.
You know where you would like it to go.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, who wouldn't be upset by that? Okay,
maybe.
I digress.
I was upset for him. I was like, "Ooh, Lord!"
Right.
There's a little boy over here, honey. I'm watching.
Right. Who is Russell, and why did Chan say he can't be involved in stuff like this? Yeah, I'll let you take that one, Corenna.
Yeah.
Keep reading, Malik.
So Russell was a character that we're probably going to see emerge, I think, by maybe next chapter or 2 chapters. He's coming. He is actually Chan's brother. And so he is very hands-on in the business as well. Because of the transitioning that's happening with Chan in their organization, there are a lot of things that he just can't do anymore. He's coming to a place where he has to straddle that world between, the triad mafia thing and being a businessman. So with that being said, you don't take large sums of money. You don't show up at the, people's houses, with a gun ready to hurt people, because like maybe that's something you did in the beginning to kind of like understand the business better. But you kind of get to a point where you're so high up, it's like, they can't talk to me about this kind of stuff. Like, I can't be seen talking to you people. Y'all gonna have to have 4 or 5 different people, and then somebody brings it to me, So I think that's what Chan really meant when he was saying, I can't be involved in this. But since he was already interrupted, I don't know, I don't even know why he left, but maybe something in him told him, you need to be there. Like, you don't need people to botch this up. And then knowing that Russell's not answering his phone was probably a bit alarming. If you're supposed to be handling these kinds of things and you're not doing your job, now I need to make sure the job is being done right. And I need to make sure people know how to properly dispose of a human being after they've been chopped. We need to make sure they know. Okay? We need to make sure that they understand. We can't have nothing coming back on us and taking down the empire. We're not doing it. So, I believe that's one of the reasons why he was really upset, because it was so uncalled for. You know what I mean? And when you have already decided you were going to make some plans to do something else way better, then I'd be disappointed too. You know, I'd be disappointed if I didn't get that piece of cheesecake. I'm gonna be disappointed. Like, so I can't even imagine him like you've been dreaming about a woman that you believe in your heart. Like, I think Chan is more sure that it's really Malia. Like, Malia's kind of like, I'm not sure. She's still, you know, feeling like she might be crazy. He is just fully invested. Like, no, that's her from the dreams. And we about to play this whole situation out. You know, reality is so much better than a dream. So that's what happened, Malik. All right. We have Jasmine from Raleigh, North Carolina says, wait, so Frank is Malia's dad? And he took a loan out for his daughter's wedding and didn't pay Chan his money back. Is her father involved in that world somehow? How did he find Chan? So that situation of how he found Chan is going to play out very soon. Okay. Like next chapter, I believe it kind of gives a little bit more detail in terms of like how he found and all that. So there is a daughter who's getting married. The daughter is not Malia, but there's a daughter who's getting married. And again, all of this, I believe that, yeah, like the next chapter really dives into why did Frank take this money? Now we know it has something to do with a daughter that's getting married, but financially he's going through something. And I think here we go back to the two-faced characters again. Everybody is wearing a mask. Everybody's doing things that maybe they should not be doing, but can't say that they shouldn't be doing because people believe in you. People expect certain things out of you. So you'll see that definitely play out here very, very soon. Like I said, I don't want to really give it away. I want you to be able to experience that for yourself and read that and feel shocked and be like, wow, okay. So yeah, that is what's happening here. Her father's not that type of person, but he knew somebody who kind of maybe entangled him in some stuff. So that's what happened.
Yeah, and I also think it wasn't there a moment when Chan was working Frank over where he was like, "You do a favor for a friend, and this is how it pays you," something to that effect. So
yes,
we did get a little glimpse that we know it's a friend. We don't know if it's a friend of Frank's or a friend of Chan, but Chan did make that, you know, statement saying, you know, he did a favor for a friend. So yeah, thing to see.
very true.